Let's get after it. It's a Friday right here on the SportsGrid Network. It is time for the early line, and we got big doings to talk about because, yes, it is a Friday. We'll talk about tonight's action. Game 7 over the weekend as well, and so much more to get into. A full Major League Baseball slate we'll get into as we creep in. And, Joe, by the way, did you know this? Saturday, Sunday, back into Monday on a live show. That, people, is the month of June. Another calendar month down. Closer to football season we go. It's your boy DRS, it's Joe Raineri. 2 hours, sometimes not enough to get you to the weekend. But you know what? We'll handle our business and get it done just for you.
Yeah, that we will, Donnie. I mean, it's a big weekend, getting ready to go really front and center here. I mean, we get another Game 7. I mean, that is fantastic. Yep. And we might actually be getting ready for the Stanley Cup Finals. Can you believe it? That is just around the corner as well.
It is just around the corner, and there is a heavyweight price to pay if you want to take those Carolina Hurricanes tonight. We'll get to that and much more, but it is a Friday. You're looking forward to the weekend. No better way to start it than getting the hottest topic of the day delivered fresh to you. Here's Joe Raineri with a little Caffeinated Joe.
Well, Donnie, great. We said we got a Game 7 in the NBA thanks to, well, another blowout last night in the Western Conference Final. But we do want to send a big shout out this morning to the NBA suits who were high-fiving each other in the league office yesterday over one of the worst ideas that we have heard in a very, very long time. Yeah, Donnie, that's right. Yesterday, the league office officially passed their brand new 3-2-1 anti-tanking plan. That's right. They could not wait to celebrate and announce to the world that they have magically solved the tanking epidemic in the NBA. Wow. Except, yeah, they didn't solve a damn thing. They actually just made it worse. And the vote passed, by the way, 29-1. And the only team with any sanity or guts to vote no was the Memphis Grizzlies. Go figure. And do you want to know why Memphis voted no? Well, because the league just completely screwed them out of a rebuilding asset. That's why. You may recall, as part of a trade with the Utah and Memphis deal there, Memphis holds the Jazz 2027 first-round pick. But because Utah already tanked last year for Ace Bailey and tanked again this year to land in the top 5. The new rule they just passed says no team can pick in the top 5 3 years in a row. So even if Utah is the worst team in the league next year, that pick cannot land in the top 5 for Memphis, which means the Grizzlies just got robbed blind by Adam Silver in the front office. What the suits in the NBA cannot seem to grasp is basic human nature and incentives, apparently, because as long as losing games helps you even the slightest amount at getting a better draft pick, teams are going to lose on purpose. Flattening the odds did not stop tanking, and this 3-2-1 nonsense is not going to stop it either. Now, we are including play-in teams in the lottery mix now. That's the other big thing here. So just wait until a couple of good teams has a couple of injuries. They decide, you know what, let's dump a few players here and let's be really bad. And then all of a sudden, magically, they end up with a top 3 draft pick. Let's see what happens to the league then. This rule guarantees that bad teams are going to stay bad. Nobody is going to want to trade future draft picks with anybody at this point. And when it fails miserably, they will just revise it once again. You invented a system that requires an MIT degree to understand, first of all, while completely ignoring the flopping epidemic and the awful officiating that's ruining these games on the court. But hey, Donnie, great job, Adam Silver and the NBA. You guys fixed an issue that was so simple to fix, you ended up creating 20 more issues down the road. It is so NBA, Donnie.
It is so NBA, and that's what we always like to say. Make me commissioner at this point, because what Joe's pointing out is, as long as there's some sort of incentive where if you lose enough, you get a higher draft pick, teams will always lose. What about flattening the odds to everybody who doesn't make the playoffs gets one ping pong ball? That means Joe, first through, let's just call it 14th, it doesn't matter. And for the people out there to go like, well, people just tank walk into your CEO board / owner's office and say, I got a game plan for you. If we make the playoffs and lose in the first round, we'll actually be really profitable because we'll get 3 home games, maybe 4 home games to try to deal with it. But if we tank, we might still end up with a 12th ball. You will be fired as a general manager so fast, you won't know what hit you. You're not going to tell an owner to tank out of the playoffs where he's going to make a couple $1 million a night in gate just to make the playoffs here and get bounced in round number 1. It's so simple. Take the losing ending out of it where it means. You could be first in the NBA in tanking, or you could be 14th, and it doesn't matter. Teams aren't going to tank at that point here. Now you just incentivize once again, and wait till you see this. General managers and teams, they're pretty smart. They're going to find a loophole through this here and wait for the final 3 weeks of the season where you can't figure out on a night-to-night basis who wants to win or who wants to actually lose and what it means. More chaos. Congratulations, NBA. Too stupid to realize what's going down. Great hot topic to get us started here on a Friday as we get into the early line with some more hot topics. No hotter topic than this. Yannick Sinner, supposed to easily win at Roland Garros here in the French Open. He didn't even make it through round number 1 here. 6-6 in those first 2 sets. He's up 2-0, cruising. He lost the next 3. He's out. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Donnie, we were on air yesterday, and that match was going on, and we kept hearing in our earpieces from our producers out. Look, Sinner's in a blue tent, man. Sinner was destroying this guy through the first 2 sets, and then apparently the heat just got to him. And this isn't the first time, I believe, heat has been an issue for Sinner, and boy, oh boy, was it a big issue down the stretch there.
Should I say round 2 there, not round 1, but still. Juan Manuel Cerundolo knocks him off. Oh, yes, Joe. The Americans are going to have a shot. 2 of the top players in the world. Ben Shelton, he lost in straight sets yesterday to a guy I never heard of.
Yep. It looks like the old man could be back in the saddle again here in tennis, Donnie. That's what it's coming down to, or a absolute no-name that we'll never hear of again.
Canadiens brought out Claude Lemieux for game number 3 in their own building to rousing applause. One of the great NHL players that you're going to see. Me as a Flyers fan, I couldn't stand him. And that's the highest praise I can give him because he was a great player and always got under our skin. And a few days later, we find he passed away. It's like, oh, no, 60 years old. Must have wondered what it was. It was actually suicide. Check on the people that you love, and it's just a sign to say you can be loved and adored one day and have some demons going on that you just can't surpass, and he passes away by suicide just a few days later. Claude Lemieux, one of the NHL greats. Shocking news at the age of 60, Joe.
Donnie, this happened in my neck of the woods, as a matter of fact, and his son found him in a furniture warehouse that, Donnie, it was all over the news here, but they never said who it was or what was going on here, and I had no idea. Shocked to learn that he was just at game 3. Unbelievable.
Saw him on your TV, here today, gone tomorrow. Outrageous, unbelievable, and stunning all at the same time. NBA Board of Governors, Joe, you just brought it up. Hey, 3-2. We already don't understand what the NBA Cup is and how you actually advance and who's playing who on a night-to-night basis. Now you throw this in. Good luck figuring out at the end of the season, idiots.
No, they won't be able to. I can't figure it out, Donnie, so I have no idea. All I know is that playing teams are going to get top 3 picks. Just let that sink in.
So the incentive is don't be really bad, just be bad. Incredible stuff here. Right. Lionel Messi, he's going to play, Joe. Hallelujah.
Yes, very good. I mean, that may be the least shocking news we heard all day yesterday.
I'll tell you this, Spurs win yesterday. Ooh, that hurt my wallet with OKC. And James Harden expected to stay with the Cavaliers until he isn't. We'll be right back after this short break. It's a Friday. Let's get going. Into the eliminator we go tonight, or could we stave off elimination and get even more hockey as those Vegas Golden Knights wait to see who's going to win the Eastern Conference and face them in the Stanley Cup Final tonight, 8 p.m. down in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's going to be Montreal. It's going to be Carolina. And Joe, usually at this stage of the game, it's like these are two really good hockey clubs here, maybe a heavy favorites, minus 150 or minus 160. Tonight, the Hurricanes favorite, Joe, across the board, minus 250s, minus 240s, minus 260s in the marketplace in a total of 5.5. Carolina has lost one time in the playoffs. That was game one of the series. Since then, it's been all Carolina Hurricanes. Do we see an extended series, or do the lights get turned out on the Montreal Canadiens tonight? And all those Canadians with those Stanley Cup hopes, poof, gone one more year.
It's kind of crazy, Donnie. But, I mean, here we go, right? I mean, Carolina's got an opportunity, one win away from making their first trip to the Cup Finals since winning it all in 2006. They lost, don't forget, the opening game of this series, 6-2. And then, of course, the Canes became the Canes, and they rattled off 3 consecutive wins. And, listen, if you're Montreal, if there's one thing you've learned here is chasing the game is never a good idea when playing Carolina. Trying to make up a multi-goal deficit, not a good idea here with Carolina. You need to play from in front. Now, the only saving grace I will say is that Montreal has, A, been here before, Donnie, in the playoffs, and B, for whatever reason, they are a much better road team than they are a home team. I would not be shocked if Montreal wins this game only to go back home, Donnie, and end up losing it in 6 here. So there's no value in backing the Canes. It's the easiest choice, and the market is telling you that. I would not look at over 5.5 here, but I can tell you, I think there's some value in maybe the puck line or Montreal here tonight.
4-pack tonight in the WNBA. 3 games at 7:30. 1 game at 10 o'clock out there on the West Coast with the Portland Fire. But game number 1, the Minnesota Lynx. Why is that important? They're 5-2 up at the top of the standings in the WNBA, taking on the Chicago Sky. We take a look at the opening lines in this one, Joe. Minus 3.5 were across the board for the Lynx, but you see the graphic this morning. We're now seeing minus 4.5, even some outlets moving to minus 5. And a total listed at 171.5. Lynx and the Sky, Joe. Give me a spread line tonight for this action.
Now the third time these teams will have met in the last 13 days here in Chicago. So Chicago, I believe, won the first meeting 86-79 last week in Minneapolis. The Lynx won the most recent meeting 85-75. That was last Saturday in Chicago. So what exactly are we doing here? Apparently, they're going to know each other very, very well, and that usually leads, Donnie, a lot of familiarity means maybe scoring is going to be a little bit more difficult here since these teams know each other now so well. 86-79 in game 1, 85-75 in game 2. I would expect that to be right around the same score here, Donnie. I do like Minnesota. They're the hotter team here, but I think maybe this number from a total perspective might be a little bit too high here tonight. I'd be looking towards an under as well.
3 straight wins for one team. That's the Lynx. 3 straight losses for the Chicago Sky. Game number 2 we'll talk about also at 7:30 from Brooklyn. It is the Phoenix Mercury taking on the New York Liberty. Look at the Liberty there, favored by 6.5 points, a total of 169.5. The Liberty right now, 4-4 on the season, looking to get it jump-started. The Phoenix Mercury almost in the basement if it wasn't for the Connecticut Sun. They sit at 2-6 on the season. Favored by about a touchdown tonight, Joe, for the Liberty. What's the spread line here for you?
Well, now what? The second game in 3 days between these two teams. We just saw this, right? Liberty handled business rather easily. Now the Mercury are on a 4-game losing streak, right? 84-74 was that loss to the Liberty on Wednesday. And I don't know how we're going to get anything different here. The Liberty started a little slow. They, too, remember we told you, Donnie, in this game a couple of days ago that the Liberty were on a home losing streak, something they had not had in a very, very long time. Well, they snapped it in that game, and they are likely going to handle business against a very young Phoenix Mercury team right now. I think the Liberty handle it rather easily.
Major League Baseball full slate on a Friday. Attention out there on the West Coast, particularly in the state of California. We're going to start in Sacramento. The New York Yankees are in town. Rodon versus Severino. This line opened up around a minus 140 price. You see it's slightly higher on that graphic at a minus 144 price as a favorite here to the New York Yankees. And as always, smaller ballpark out there in Sacramento. We start at 10 as a total in this one. Yankees trying to keep pace there with the Tampa Bay Rays and the Athletics, who were seemingly looking like they were going to be a first-place team, slip back a little bit, but hey, too close to first-place teams here battling in Sacramento today.
Yeah, well, listen, if we look back to Severino versus his former team, it has not exactly been good here, Donnie. 3 starts, 0-2, nearly an 11 ERA. He's been torched, 17 runs, 15 earned, 18 hits in 12 2/3 innings, and now he's got to take the mound against his former team in a ballpark he can't win at, Donnie, nor can he even make it out of the 4th inning without giving up 7-8 runs here. I don't know how we don't look. This, to me, looks like a Coors Field type of game. It feels like there's going to be a million runs, maybe one of the more entertaining games. I wouldn't expect a pitcher's battle here tonight. I would expect a very high-scoring game here.
Earlier in the week, the Athletics were in first place, but a 3-game losing streak will knock you out of first place, which they're a half game back. The New York Yankees don't want a streak of their own. Winners of 4 straight with Tampa Bay's losers of 4 straight, so maybe some extra momentum here. As I said, we'll keep it in the state of California, but go a little bit south there to Los Angeles. The Phillies and the Dodgers going to tee it up. Wait till you see this line here, Joe. It's Wheeler versus Robleski. Wheeler looks like he's every bit as good as he's ever been coming back off an injury. Yet the Los Angeles Dodgers are favored in this game at a minus 118 price, minus 120s across the board as well. A total that's listed between 8 and 8.5. And understand this. I don't understand this. The Philadelphia Phillies cannot hit left-handed pitching, which means I'm a lefty. I probably would throw 60 miles an hour right now. I would peel right through that Phillies lineup. That's the difference. Wait a second. Wheeler is dominant going up against a tomato can. What gives? That's what gives here, Joe. But what is that true spread line for tonight quickly?
Yeah, well, you're right. Wheeler has been phenomenal, and we've also seen nothing but Philadelphia money, Donnie. This opened up overnight. Dodgers minus 120. I'm seeing at least a 10-cent move. I think the market's onto something.
Come on, Zach. We'll be right back. More Hot Topics on the way. Let's talk basketball. Why? Last night, San Antonio was extra special at home in a game 6, which we love, Joe. Saturday night, 8 p.m. Wait till you see the ratings, juiced or not, come out for this one. You're going to want to tune in. You're going to watch, and then we'll finally know who's going to play in the NBA Finals, which start on June 3rd in the home city for the Western Conference teams. But, Joe, before we get there, teams are already in their offseason. They stink and they want their draft balls. They want their lottery picks. They want to get involved and say, hey, man, give me Di Bansta, give me Peterson, give me a really good basketball player. Legion Hoops with the tweet that we already knew, Joe. There's a 71% chance that the NBA's number one pick falls between 6th and 12th place here. I don't know what the NBA is thinking. Understand this. You did it to yourself with this season where you allow players just to sit out and say, you know what, we're going to tank games. Understandably, in the NFL, they do tank games in the back end of December. It's just one of those, net losses that you have, but it's usually like one or two teams jockeying for it. In the NBA, it felt like we had 13, 14 teams tanking on a night-to-night basis. Now you understand that they're generally, Joe, are really bad basketball teams, deserving and not really tanking, but are just bad. And now they're going to say, like, good luck with this. It's like a relegation where, man, we honestly tried all season. We're bad. And now we don't even get a good draft pick because we're supposed to get number 1 and we fall to number 8. Joe, make it make sense. Who knows what the NBA is doing at this point now?
And Donnie, I mean, the fact that play-in teams now are going to be able to be in the mix you're going to have situations, Donnie, where teams know they're not winning anything, have made the play-in game being awful, and are going to continue and lose in the play-in game, not to be penalized, so that they actually lose the ability to be able to get a couple more ping pong balls and get in the draft. It's just they created more of a mess than ever needed it to be. And by the way, Donnie, I am still of the mind, this is one of the rarest drafts that we have seen in a very long time. To have this amount of players worth tanking for in the NBA draft is an anomaly. It is not going to be like this every year out of college. So I think they're fixing issues that won't be around here over the next couple of years.
Like, honestly, there's such simple answers that could get this done, and we would just be fine with it. Just have the flat, you don't make the playoffs, or you don't make the playoffs. Yes, you get one ping pong ball. Or, Joe, have a backbone and a spine as actually running the league. You're actively tanking. That's $5 million fine every night we catch you doing something wrong. They won't do it anymore. Financial incentives to actually be good basketball teams make sense, but the NBA doing something that most people aren't even going to understand what's going on, which is the worst case scenario. We've been following this story for quite some time now. Terry Rozier, it's not as if it's like, hey, man, just got called up to the NBA. I'm a two-way player. I barely make any money. I better cash in while it's hot, give my boys information about me leaving games early. Terry Rozier has made hundreds of millions of dollars. Federal prosecutors claim that Terry Rozier accepted a $100,000 bribe to intentionally leave the game early on March the 23rd, enabling a group of sports gamblers to profit on his player props here. Insanity, Joe. Insanity.
Yes, especially given the fact that, and I believe this was when he was with Charlotte, right? So he was due for such a ridiculous, and he got it, Donnie, right? 98, almost $100 million contract is what he ended up getting with the Miami, and just all for what? For $100,000? What's his game check, Donnie? What was his game check that you're willing to throw it all away for $100,000 is amazing to me.
Here's what I like as well. You know as well as I do. Remember Shohei Ohtani, big gambling scandal, just threw one guy under the bus. Ohtani knew nothing about it. Let's get back to baseball. You know the NBA wanted to sweep this under the rug, but the feds are like, oh, no. We're not sweeping anything under the rug. We are going to catch all of these guys in a row. So the NBA is probably through. Because even remember, we're going to suspend Terry Rozier. And then it turns out the NBA is like, oh, well, you got to pay him anyways. Like, wait a second. This guy actively tanked games. Like, no, we can't keep his funds in escrow, hoping it went away. It's not going away. And it's seemingly now absolutely getting worse, where Rozier's like, I'm innocent. Now we got you basically on tape accepting a $100,000 bribe. Not a good look at this point here. Let's keep it moving, Joe, because we got some great topics here in the NBA. The Portland Trailblazers have serious interest in acquiring Giannis Antetokounmpo to pair in Portland with Damian Lillard, with an organization that wants to save a lot of money. It can't be serious, can they, Joe?
Yeah. No, how are you
Come
going to
on.
afford them?
What are we
But
doing?
apparently they're not going to spend any money. Like, so I don't, no, it's just not going to happen. Why in the world would Giannis or anybody else go to a guy that is just like, yeah, we're not going to take the trainers on the flight today. Yeah, the seats are they're a little pricey. So we're going to do like remote training, Donnie, is what's next with this guy. But the trainers are just going to get you over, on a Zoom call. You'll be fine. Unreal.
And unreal, actually, it is. And unreal also continue to plow away. We're going to go ahead to commercial break. We're going to have some fun. What's the deal, Joe Raineri? You want to have an extended time frame right now? To break we go, people. We got to take a break.
That's a good point.
This segment, we're going to actually get to that final score last night, which showed the San Antonio Spurs picking up a victory over OKC. But, Joe, usually when you have a dominant team looking to go back-to-back, like you look at the Los Angeles Dodgers, right? Already won a couple championships in a row, looking to do it again this year. Respected around because why? They have a huge payroll, a ton of talent, superstar power. And sometimes, even though they're not your team, they're still fun to watch in the playoffs. Like, man, they got so much talent. And you might be able to rally behind them. Me as a Phillies fan, I'm not doing that. But I can see why people like the Los Angeles Dodgers. Joe, I get this vibe out of OKC, right? This is supposed to be the feel-good story, no? Like, OKC, smaller market. Yes, they tanked, but they got a group of guys, a great general manager, more ammunition on the way. They could be building themselves up into a dynasty. And then we get reports like this. Underdog is refusing to bend after an attorney for SGA sent a cease and desist about a promotional underdog board game making fun of the MVP's foul baiting. Now, you talk about this as well, Joe, where you're saying, like, where does the whistle go in games to games? We're supposed to be loving this movement, a smaller market team able to hang with the big boys and win championships. But I don't feel the universal love at all for OKC, and this is a big reason why.
Well, it's a huge reason why, and it's magnified here, right, Donnie? So, and then you do stuff like this. Like, it was one of the best promotions, one of the funniest promotions we've seen. But the memes, Donnie, after game 5 were hilarious. Are they sending cease and desist orders to everyone who made an AI video of SGA just falling down and refs coming over and blowing whistle? I mean, I don't understand. This is who you are. Like, and when you don't get the whistles, what we saw last night is exactly who you are. So, I don't get it, Donnie. It seems a little too sensitive for my taste. For an MVP, It seems a little
I
too
know.
sensitive to me.
And I know we like to say like old man yell at cloud or go back in the day. And I was one of the few people that could not stand Michael Jordan. Why? I was a Sixers fan. It would just beat us around all
Right.
the time. I was a Barkley, Mahorn, thump and bump guy, Hersey Hawkins down to the core. But you know, Michael Jordan would go to the rack and get destroyed. He always got the quick whistle because he's the best player in the NBA, but he never flopped around. It's like, this guy Jordan. Like, can you imagine if Jordan just every time he got touched ended up in the first row? Oh, that should be a foul or not. Maybe he's looked at differently, but that's the things like even Brian Scalabrine on OKC's flopping, ruining basketball at this point right now. This is not what we should be talking about. You should be enjoying the game, watching two teams get it on with superstar players, but everybody, the minute that whistle blows, or sometimes you just watch the highlights and go, how is it possible every time Oklahoma City goes to the rim, touched or not, the guys are laying flat out under the basket, Joe?
Donnie, it's laughably bad. I mean, it's laughably, and it's not even close. But the worst part is, it would. You know how you stop that? The refs could have stopped this. All you the refs could have stopped this. You know why? Don't blow the whistle when a guy falls down all the time. And you know what? I mean, to the NBA and to those to the refs' credit last night, you know what they didn't do? They didn't blow the whistle, no matter how much contact for either side. So that game had to be played, and this is a shocker, not at the free throw line. It had to be played on the court. And, well, it looks like San Antonio out-muscled OKC. When they're not getting the whistles, they're a different team.
And by the way, Joe, I don't like Draymond Green all that much because, again, I don't like Golden State. But you know, if we have a scale of, 1 to 10, moving up 10 being how much I love the player and 1 being how much I hate the player, Draymond's at about a 1 for me. But Draymond Green with these latest tactics here, running his mouth, he's moving up on my chart, Joe. Why? Because he's taking a shot at the New York Knicks here. Draymond Green dismisses the Knicks finals run as a mere fluke. And also at the end of this tweet here, quote, Joe, it'll be probably another 15 years of misery and we'll all sit around and laugh at the Knicks fans with their delusion. Draymond, you might just have a fan in me right now.
Listen, Draymond is setting himself up for quite the post-career analyst here. Again, although I don't know how many games they're going to let you call, but you can hang out in the studio there with, with good old Chuck and company there and see how that rolls. Listen, maybe the winner in all of this, Donnie, is the New York Knicks because nobody is dissecting the Knicks. They've been the best team all playoffs long, and they're just sitting quietly going, you guys devour one another, and we'll beat whoever it is that comes out of this thing alive. And it is going to be a war in Game 7.
And by the way, quick notes here on the New York Knicks. On their off day, I guess we're getting bad information. Mitchell Robinson suffered a broken right pinky finger. No timetable for his return. We'll find out what that is. But, Joe, if we do go back last night to San Antonio, an impressive performance from Wemby and the boys, forcing a game number 7, 118-91. We saw that first quarter, 35-22, and away they went. A 13-point third quarter for the Thunder, 32 points for the Spurs in that quarter. It was a wrap. It was over, and we are getting ready for Game 7. But we wanted to see how Wemby would come out and play. And also, Joe, we just wanted to hear from Wemby after the game. Hey, here he is.
What does playing desperate look like to you? And when both teams, how does everyone's playing hard in playoffs?
It just feels like it erases kind of all the other mistakes that we know that are human nature. Others do in the regular season or previous games. Just gotta fight that other type, and backs against the wall. It feels like it's the best opportunity to do that.
Now, taking a look at Wemby there, I got a quick comment. It's professional players need bigger seats because of how big they are. When they go on the road, they make sure to give them the extra size beds because they're giants and they need to get some sleep. Can we put in, Joe, like on the actual dais there that they have to speak after the game, NBA players approve microphones that actually can fit into their hands as opposed to him just holding it like it is a golf ball, Joe?
Yeah, or just get a boom mic out there and have somebody hold the damn thing, right? You know what I mean? Like, what are they doing there? What are they doing? But, hey, listen, kudos to Wemby for showing up, Donnie. He obviously, didn't get fined, but he didn't talk to the media after the embarrassing Game 5 loss. But he showed up last night in a big way and let the play on the court do all the talking for him. But the problem is, Donnie, it don't work if you can't do it on the road in the NBA. You can't be an NBA champion if you can't do that on the road, and that has been the big issue.
Let's squeeze in some things from the coaches of what they said after the game last night.
Tonight was do or die, and I think a lot of fans are going to be happy. They say it's the best line in sports, I believe. So we'll be prepared, take the next 40 hours or whatever it may be to try to get ready, get organized, and get ready to go into a hostile environment against the defending champs in the Western Conference Finals for a team that's done it multiple times and knows exactly what they're going to, what it takes. And I would expect to get their best punch. We're going to go in with our eyes wide open and expecting nothing less.
You won a Game 7 versus Denver versus Indiana. Is that sort of a positive that you can glean from this game, just knowing that you guys have bounced back from, a bad Game 6 before?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of experiences to this point, and the one thing that we've learned more than anything is like every game has a new life. Every game is earned, if you want to win it. Game 7 will be no different. This is obviously a quality opponent. We have to play obviously a lot better than we did tonight, and we understand that from a number of experiences. So, we'll get off our feet tomorrow. We'll get some rest and recovery, learn from the tape, take the lessons from tonight that are relevant for Game 7, and be ready to go out there and throw our best punch.
Should be a great one in game number 7. This is what we watch. Also, Jalen Williams came back last night. Wasn't all that effective, but maybe helping him grease into that game number 7. But the biggest winner, Joe, maybe not, let's just say San Antonio won last night. It's the New York Knicks. They're sitting at home right now. These teams are going to a game number 7. That could help them out once the NBA Finals start on the 3rd.
Well, it's absolutely right. They're going to be healthy. And give me a break, Mitchell Robinson, 7'1" dude with a pinky issue doesn't mean he's on the bench or not playing. Give me a break. What is he going to miss free throws, Donnie? He doesn't make them anyway.
Correct.
So what's the difference?
Yeah. Hey, I'm under the rim. What, you can't lay it in? You certainly aren't shooting three-point shots either. Just the way it is. Baseball talk up next. The haves and the have-nots, Joe. That's what we're dealing with in Major League Baseball. Not just the owners themselves where, hey, I got a big market team, I'll spend money, I make money, and if you're a small market team, just deal with it on your end. The one thing we realized, Joe, about professional sports is the NFL got it right, and it happened a long time ago because the same stances could take place today. Could you imagine, Joe, the NFL with no salary cap? Like, wow, players are going to make a lot of money. But then you would look and go like, hold on, the best team every single year could be the New York Giants, or let's just say it's the LA Rams at this point, because you have rich owners with unlimited spending potential and much more revenue capital than most teams would have. But the Mara family a long time ago said to themselves, hey, look, do we just want to run this league as the New York Giants? And maybe it's not great for the health of the league, but we'll make a lot of money in the short term. They decided, Joe, that, you know what? Green Bay, Wisconsin needs to be viable. And you know what? It is. It's a great foundation, a great program, a great organization that challenges, wins Super Bowls, and away we go. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who ruled the 1970s and still winning Super Bowls. Now, granted, they're over 500 now. Mike Tomlin's out the door. They haven't won a Super Bowl in a while, but you get to the point. They're a viable franchise that can sit back and say, we can afford to pay our players just like everybody else. It works. But for some reason, Joe, Major League Baseball is opposite because the revenue structure is ridiculous. The richest team in the league, let's just say the Los Angeles Dodgers, can spend as much as they want and be profitable. And then a team like the Miami Marlins goes, well, we're in a big city, but if we spend the least amount, we'll probably be even more profitable than the Dodgers just by being bad because of the revenue sharing structure that we have with the luxury taxes that are imposed. That's wrong, and that's a stupid way to think about it. So as we look, Joe, coming up this December, the CBA is up. Major League Baseball owners want a salary cap and a salary floor, and the fight is on because the players have always told us we will not even go to the negotiating table if there is a cap.
Yeah, and like I had said here, we mentioned this yesterday, and we were like, well, they're talking, right? That's all a good... No, it's not, because it's ultimately going to come down to just... And nothing else matters, Donnie. As far as the players are concerned, nothing else matters except the fact that nothing even resembling a cap hits this league or hits their pocket. So everything else can be negotiated, Donnie. It can probably have an agreement by this weekend. But that's not what this is all going to decide whether or not we get baseball next year. The only thing that's going to decide it is whether or not they can come to some agreement on some sort of cap or no cap, or just put that to bed finally.
This might be one of the first times, because usually, in the NFL, we always side with the owners because we just want football and we don't care. We just want them to play. But in Major League Baseball, you support the players and what they have. And, in this political environment, hey, tax the rich and do all that stuff. Well, yes, the owners are very rich and they need to pay their share. And we get that. But in Major League Baseball, in that echo circle, it's always interesting to me where you can have a guy on your baseball team, Joe, right? That's like, hey, third year in the league, just trying to make my way around. I'm making $1.1 million. And you look across and like, Ohtani's making 70 here. And then you look at the units like, no caps here. And you go, well, if we did put in a cap and a floor, that means me, who I might play 5 years in Major League Baseball. My salary right now is $800,000. Well, I could get bumped up to $3.4, $3.5 million. And yeah, Ohtani, you might take a little haircut on $70 million down to $60 million, but spread the wealth. I'm interested to see how this goes in the lower rungs because, as you said, Joe, and rightfully so, they fight against that salary cap. But we never really talk about the salary cap floor. And just to put it in perspective, the Miami Marlins, rough payroll around around like $70 million, I believe it is. Well, they would increase their payroll, Joe, basically overnight to $100 million more, which means those guys making $1 million bump up to $2, $3, and $4 million. How do those guys vote no on this and say, we like the status quo, even though my team is never going to pay, and I might be out of the league in 3 to 4 years with $3 million in my pocket? Also, $3 million is a lot. Not if it could be $10 million, Joe.
Yeah, well, that's, Donnie, listen, there's a lot of things wrong with Major League Baseball, and a lot of it has to do with the ridiculous salaries that they have gotten, and it's been an issue for how long now, Donnie? Every CBA, it's an issue, right? But the owners keep kicking it down the road, and that's why you have the Lorries of the world that will win a World Series, then sell the team the following year, build a stadium, then move, then sell it. Like, this is what you have with Major League Baseball. They have tried these workarounds, but ultimately, Donnie, you kick the can down the road for decades, and here we are. Something has got to change, Donnie, because the owners look hell-bent on calling the bluff of the players and saying, okay, you don't want to play? That's fine. Enough is enough here.
Yeah, I want to call the bluff on this next story from Talking Baseball, Joe. You ready for this? Major League Baseball is considering the city of Sacramento for an expansion team. I'm not even going to read the rest. I don't even want to spend one more second on my thoughts on Major League Baseball coming to Sacramento. Are we kidding ourselves, Joe? Seriously?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, listen, they will be exciting games given the fact that the ball flies out of there. But I don't know. It's an outdoor stadium in Sacramento, so we want to play in 101 degrees with stifling heat. Like, what are we talking about here exactly, Donnie?
Yeah, I'll tell you what else we're talking about too, Joe. You like this here. From a parody account, which I had to read here. The Boston Red Sox are under investigation for using performance-inhibiting drugs, Joe. Slipping those guys pills so they play bad baseball. Maybe that's the only response that we can actually get of why the Sox stink this year.
Well, I would stop taking those, Donnie, because they don't seem to be working at all in any capacity there. But you know who I blame?
Yeah.
Alex Cora. Got to be Cora's fault. Yep.
Hey, blame it. Blame it. Hey, look, get the trash cans out for Cora. Get the watches back out. Win some baseball games. Maybe it was just the cheating there, right? Maybe it was the cheating over the years that helped him out. But it is what it is.
Definitely wasn't the front office.
No.
The guys who put this team together, definitely not their fault. Absolutely not.
Front office hates their manager and their own baseball team. Doesn't make sense, and it usually doesn't work out well. How about this, Joe? Superstitions in Major League Baseball. You know what? Shave this mustache, get a couple base hits. We're talking about Carson Bench, and it worked here, Joe. Did you have any superstitions where you might be running in a rut? You got to change it up a little bit?
Yeah, sometimes the glove, we keep the glove in the left pocket or the right pocket. It was all about routines with me, Donnie. It's like the same routine over and over and over. And then if it wasn't going well, then you tried to mix up the routine a little bit. But mostly everything stayed the same.
Go out for a nice steak dinner, baked potato, enjoy it. Go at 3 for 4 that night, Joe. You know that baseball player's going back? Steak dinner, baked potato. See if he can run it back. Superstitions. Sometimes it works here. It's Friday on the Grid. We'll be right back after this short break. Are everything in the NFL, and it doesn't matter what position you're in. And understand this too. As a coach, it's very easy to say this. Boy, competition brings out the best in everybody. I'm going to tell you this right now. Not a single player out there outside of like a Michael Jordan was like, you know what? I'd rather my coach say my job is on the line every day. No, you want the coach to be like, no, that's my starting wide receiver over there, and that's the way it's going to be. Whew, good. Takes all the pressure off at this point. Ooh, pressure burst pipes, and we all want to work harder. No, we don't. We all want the job ourselves, which brings up the quarterback room in Minnesota here, Joe. Let's hear from the two dueling quarterbacks and what they've been saying.
Tyler, could you describe your relationship with JJ to this point?
It's been great. It's been great. Obviously, I know he's a younger guy, so any way I can help him. Obviously, I feel like I've played 7 years now, going on 8. So I'm considered a veteran, even though I don't see myself as that. Give him any knowledge that he needs. Again, we're both competitors, and I know we both want what's best for the team.
Has he been receptive to hearing criticism?
Of course. Yeah, he's overly acceptive, and he's always communicating, asking questions, stuff like that. So it's been good.
JJ, what's your relationship been like with Kyler so far?
It's just like two guys in a classroom. He sits on one side, I sit on the other side, and it's the coach's responsibility to teach us and coach us. So,
is there any awkwardness like between you two?
Awkwardness, it's just like the same feeling, when you're in high school and there's another person on the other side of the room. That's just kind of how it is. So I wouldn't say there's any awkwardness.
It just goes down to the point where, like, one kid's fighting for a job with J.J. McCarthy, first-round draft pick, high expectations haven't worked out. They brought in a guy to take his job. Now, the one guy in Kyler Murray, he's been schooled to the NFL game. Like, look, I'm going to give you the PC answer right now, but deep down inside, nobody wants to teach the guy across the room here to be a better quarterback, to take your own job. That's life. We all get mad at Aaron Rodgers going, you drafted a quarterback. I'm supposed to coach him up so he takes my job. Stay over there. We get mad on the outside, but deep down, you do the same thing if somebody was hired to take your job. Help this guy get him up to speed so eventually he takes your job. And JJ's saying, look, this guy sits over there. Like, I might like the guy, but I'm trying to take his job. He's trying to take mine. What do you think? We go out to eat. It's going to be awesome when he does take my job and affects my ability to earn at this level?
It's almost like J.J. McCarthy had absolutely zero public relations training, like in any way. And yet the guy's a national champion. He played how many years with Harbaugh at Michigan? Like, so let me understand this correct. Kyler Murray is going through the PR playbook, saying all the right things, doing all the right things. And you come out there 10 minutes later and just throw him right under the bus and be like, yeah, no, that's not. It, almost like you've never, ever sat in front of a microphone before. I love it. You got to, you know what? The time to be kumbaya is after somebody wins the job. But until then, I'll take more of this.
Like, again, we say this as, like, looking at it and saying, that's not what you're supposed to say, but we all want to say exactly what he's saying. What do you think of Kyler Murray? He seems like a great guy, and I hope he never plays quarterback here because that means I'm playing quarterback here. It's funny. Like, we want the real responses from athletes until they give you the real responses, and then we tell you what the heck is he talking about here when you know what he's talking about. Same thing in real life as well. How about Ohio State? Let's go to the college ranks here. As if you need more money to be the head coach. Somebody's getting $13 million a year now because why? The Ohio State players, picking up Ryan Day as their head coach, $100,000 bonus after his players delivered a cumulative GPA of 3.4. Stop, Joe. Come on.
Yeah, stop it. Like, is that what we're touting now? Like, stop it. How do we grade the NFL eligibility card, Donnie? That's what I want to see. How many guys do you have on the team that are actually eligible that can play in the NFL? That should be the only thing that matters. Forget GPAs, forget going to class. Is this guy going to play in the NFL? If he is, I want him on the team.
By the way, remember Andy Katzenmoyer, like a monster recruiter? Where's the 45? Mm-hmm. Archie Griffin gave him the blessing. And I believe his parents were saying, like, we sent him there to learn football to be a pro. We didn't send him to Ohio State to actually go to class. And,
exactly.
Oh, that's ridiculous. No, that's actually the point of this, right? How about this next story? Jackson Dart had to address his teammates in a meeting. Why? Because he introduced President Trump last week. Other team leaders spoke up as well, and Dart and the players worked through it. They're all moving forward, Joe. Politics. Hey, you go Thanksgiving dinner, you ruin it here. Seems like maybe that happens in NFL locker rooms as well.
Yeah, let me make this simple for everybody else who's not a franchise quarterback in that locker room. Let me explain the hierarchy here. What he did say was probably, I don't have to explain myself to you from this point forward, because if I do have to, chances are you won't be on the roster in a couple of months.
Hour number 2 coming up here. Know your role, know your worth. I got a hot story that's just funny that we're going to talk about next. It's Friday on the early line. It's hour number 2. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Raineri. We got action coming up. 2 guests in this hour. Tom Vecchio is going to join us, as well as Kevin Walsh. We're going to have PME midway through. I can't get out of my own way. My first losing week in months on the show. But that's, thank goodness, there for Joe Raineri, who's clean on the week at 3-0, looking to push it to 4-0. You'll get those best bets midway. But there are hot topics ready to go, Joe. We got a big game tonight in the NHL, a game number 7 in the NBA on Saturday night. Something great to look forward to. By the way, I don't mean this to be funny, Joe, but is there actually a horse race that's this week, or is it next week? When is the Belmont? Is that actually this weekend?
I believe it's next week, Donnie.
Is it next? That's how much I care about it. Yeah.
I think we got one more week, yes. And there will be, not that many people remember, but there will be some horses that actually raced in the Kentucky Derby that will be back to race in the Belmont. But it feels it might as well have been 12 years ago.
Exactly. And also, is anybody going to watch the French Open anymore? I don't think anybody even recognized any players left because Alcaraz didn't participate. Sinner got dropped in round number 2. Somebody's got to win that thing. But, Joe, you know what else these somebodies need? The hottest topics across the sports landscape in the early lineup. And before we get there, I love this tweet from Sleeper NFL. Rashee Rice, he's not at camp. Why? Well, his knee is bad / jail, but is expected to be ready for training camp per Andy Reid. Quote, life lessons are important, but we're all given chances to learn, and he's in that position now. Let me start with this. When Andy Reid was in Philadelphia, if you got a parking ticket or a speeding ticket, he made an example of you. That's not the way we run this organization. Got fired from Philadelphia, goes to Kansas City. What happens if I bring some questionable athletes onto my team? Oh, that's right. Super Bowl's here, and we'll do that. Rashee Rice is actively headed to jail, and Big Red's like, yeah, he'll learn his lesson, and boy, I need him week number 1.
Yeah, well, you're going to need him week number 1. You better have him week number 1, Donnie. But listen, it's so funny, right? This time of year, Donnie, there's going to be so much that changes week to week here as we inch a little bit closer. If you think it's crazy that it's almost June now, Donnie, it's going to be, guess what? It's going to be August before we blink and we know it. And guess what? All of this will have its way of sorting itself out.
Sorts itself out. It always does. But again, why is one of your best players missing this? He's got a hamstring injury. Oh, that makes some sense. Why is he really missing? Well, he's actually in jail. He can't come here, but he'll be back and he'll learn. Is he going to be in lockup? Is he at Leavenworth out there in the middle of the country? Who knows at this point? But let's get to some of these other hot topics. Yannick Sinner. Joe, he was supposed to, we had it up on Calcium Polymarket. He was going to walk to an easy victory at Roland Garros until he wasn't, lost to a player I've never heard of in round number 2 after Joe. Thing up 2 sets how'd that happen?
Pure domination, Donnie. Then all of a sudden, I guess the Heat got involved, and next thing you know, he can't stand up. He's in the blue 10. He's taking time out. And then he lost, 18 of the last 19 games? Like, he was a mess, Donnie. He was an absolute mess. And how come the Heat's only affecting the men's side? Like, the women had no issue playing in the Heat. I didn't hear about anybody collapsing there. So, like, what is going on, Sinner?
Body failed him right now. And also, it's kind of like, say, hey, man, I got a lot of competition. I got to be on my P's and Q's. Did he come into this like the minute that, Alcaraz wasn't playing, like, this is going to be the easiest tournament I ever had? And he's probably sitting there going, like, I can't believe the Heat is getting to me, and I don't feel good, and I'm going to lose maybe the easiest major I could ever pick up. And he's already out in round number 2. So that leaves the Americans here. Maybe we can finally steal one of these. Top 5 seed down. Ben Shelton in straight sets in round number 2. Thanks, Ben.
Way to go, Ben. Impressive. Like, who is left besides the old man? Like, the old guy on the block is still there, right? Like, did Novak get beat too? Like, did he eat a banana and had enough fluids in him and he's good to go? Like, figure it out here, guys. My good. Well, maybe it's good for the sport, Donnie, because maybe we should learn somebody else's name.
Correct. Yes, exactly. We're not fighting the same things through and hear the same post games after, this guy wins the championship, fell to this. You fast forward to the next major. It's the same 2 guys. Somebody else has to win, and maybe that does create some intrigue here. Claude Lemieux, devastating story, 60 years old, passes away by suicide just days after being loved by the crowd in Montreal. A great player in the NHL, only 60 years old. The ultimate guy that got under your skin and played with passion. And as I said, now we're number 1. As a Flyers fan, I couldn't stand this guy when he was on the Devils. Why? Because that's a sign of respect. That guy was good and got under our skin. Passes away at 60 due to suicide. Tragic events.
Just awful, Donnie. And it was down in my neck of the woods, too. And I could not believe it. Saw the report on the news the night before about it, but didn't know what it was or what was going on. And then to learn it after just seeing him be celebrated in Game 3 in Montreal, it just crazy, so unfortunate. And you just never know what somebody's going through, Donnie. It's unfortunately a tragic reminder.
You ever see the shirts that say, Joe, the anti-social clubs? Like, hey, that's kind of an interesting use of words here. How about the anti-tanking that the NBA is looking to say this is going to improve our league? If you're really bad, you're not going to get a first-round pick. But if you can tank just well enough to stay out of that bottom, you actually get launched into a pattern where you could be a really good basketball team because we'll reward you for doing that here. It makes no sense. I have no idea I got approved by the Board of Governors. There were so many better options on the board, but people that make millions of dollars making stupid decisions happens on a day-to-day basis, Joe.
They've created more reason for teams to actually tank, Donnie. Makes absolute. And the problem is you're going to give a really good team an opportunity at the right moment to lose just enough games to get a top 3 pick. And then let's see what happens.
Lionel Messi coming to the rescue for the World Cup television rights market. We need him in there. Higher ratings. Messi will compete in the sixth, Joe. It doesn't happen. You don't play in the World Cup every year. This is his 6th World Cup.
Yeah, and I got to tell you here, Donnie, this least surprising news of the day here. Of course, he was going to play in the World Cup. Injuries or no injury, he was going to play in the World Cup, and now his jersey sales are going to go through the roof again.
How about those San Antonio Spurs forcing a Game 7 to be played on Saturday night? Here's SGA talking about their toughest opponent.
Yeah.
When I hear you say that, I mean, you guys obviously went through the ringer with a couple Game 7s last year, but do you feel like these Spurs, that they're the toughest challenge you guys have faced as a group so far?
I don't know. They're up there for sure. Indiana and Denver were pretty tough. Taking us to Game 7, probably the common denominator with those groups. But yeah, they're a very tough team, really good team, especially this late in the season. You're going to play teams of this caliber. It's no surprise. And yeah, when you're on a playoff run, you run into teams that are very good, especially when you get this late, and however many games it takes.
And the glasses came off, Joe.
Yeah, well, the glasses came off, but once again, it's amazing how mediocre he is when the whistles aren't in his favor.
Boy.
And we've seen it time and time again. When he's at the free throw line, great. When he's not at the free throw line, what you see is exactly what you got.
A free throw merchant, as people like to say. And by the way, see that name that's popping up on your screen to the left right now? James Harden, the ultimate free throw merchant who had rules put in place so he couldn't game the system. James Harden is expected to decline his player option and sign a contract 2 years, $60 million with the Cavaliers. There go the Cavaliers' futures up in flames.
Yeah, he'll be there until he pushes his way out again mid-season. We knew this was going to be a problem. We knew this trade was going to be a problem. How did we know it and the Cavs didn't? Unreal.
What's going to happen? What's going to happen here, Joe? He signs that extension because they can pay him more money than 3 games into the season. I want out of here in a trade. I got my money. Now I want to leave. Make it make sense, people. Kevin Walsh will join us next. We'll make it make sense. Friday on the Sports Grid Network. Friday, hour number 2. One step closer to your weekend here. It's DRS. It's Joe Raineri. We're bringing Kevin Walsh, who's going to guide you into that weekend tonight on In-Game Live to make sure you are ready and build you up for a Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals. But before we get there, it's Kevin Walsh. He's enjoying himself. It's Friday Red here. Looks like a casual Friday on the network for Kevin. I'm going to have to pass that on to the higher-ups. I don't like this look, I got to tell you.
I got a collar. We got buttons. I feel ready to go. I don't entirely know what you're talking about here, DRS.
Now, what's the insignia there? Is that an R for Rutgers? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
My New Jersey roots. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's right. Now, you know what?
Locked and loaded.
Kevin fully buying into the better state of New Jersey than the state of Queens, as we like to say. And by the way, I've been to Kevin's house a lot up there in Queens, or at least I've viewed it a lot.
Here
Come on, can we get a little bit deeper? Good stuff as always here. But Kev, let's get to the meat and the potatoes here. Last night, I had a public fade. I took the Thunder plus 3.5. I watched Wemby hit his first 2 threes. Kevin, I changed the channel right away because I figured what was going to happen. But I got a little bit more invigorated around halftime, and then the bottom dropped out, and I was like, there's no need to stay up any later. The Spurs were the better team last night. They hammered the Thunder, and we have a Game 7 on a Saturday night at 8 p.m. for a ratings bonanza.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The third quarter, though, from Oklahoma City was outrageous. Wrong side of a 20-0 or 23-0 run should not happen. And again, man, I just Mark Daigneault has created an incredible basketball environment that puts a lot of these guys in a great position to succeed. I think he is clearly a smart basketball mind. I think in game, he leaves a lot to be desired. I think this is the second year in a row. Again, like, you're on the wrong side of a 20-0 run. You got nothing for me here, Mark. Like, nothing for me. And I am still just absolutely blown away. So they played, 5 regular season games, 6 now in the playoffs. I don't know how many times these teams have to play before he realizes that Chet Holmgren should be guarding Victor Wembanyama. It's baffling. Like, Isaiah Hartenstein is still out there soft challenging threes and just having not much of a prayer in that individual matchup. It's crazy.
It truly is. And we talked about it yesterday, Kev, that we thought the side and the total were correlated, right? If OKC was going to win, that thing was likely flying over 220. If they didn't, then the only way San Antonio is really winning our game is because they're going to do exactly what they did to OKC, and that was limited to under 100 points. The blueprint is there. The question is, can they do it on the road?
I think the more interesting thing, Joe, is the way the totals moved here for Game 7. We know about these Game 7 taxes. I almost thought it was going to move more, right? From, call it 219 to 212.5. I'm not saying that's not an insignificant move, but we've seen bigger. And, the Game 7s this year, they've not been these bang unders. So I think you end up in this very weird position where sometimes information isn't your friend. Like, people knowing, oh yeah, Game 7s fly under. Yeah, so do the books know that. So you're watching these totals move massively, but if everybody is to believe that OKC winning means they're going to score $120 themselves, then I'm very curious to watch this total move. I think they opened it 211.5, and it's now climbed up to 212.5 here. I'm a little surprised OKC is only minus 3.5. Like, they've won at home now, right? More so than they've lost. And they're not winning these games by a point or two. Whoever wins here, the winning side, is usually winning somewhat comfortably. So it's just, I don't know, like, they're sometimes willing to adjust things based on the spot, and other times they're not here. So it's, again, a very, very interesting setup we have for that Game 7 on Saturday.
Hockey Basketball and football, Kevin, all have salary caps. Led to believe that each team is going to put their best foot forward. Payrolls line up. Superstars going to go to teams, yes, but understanding that one team's not just going to be loaded with the best players in the sport and run roughshod over everybody. Now, the jokes write themselves in Major League Baseball, where the Dodgers are like, hey, look, if we play this a little bit cool, nobody's going to catch up to us. But it seems like they hit the gas pedal over the past 2 years to try to force a CBA that says we pay so much more. And also, a lot of times, Kevin, you hear about like the poison pill. We're going to offer this guy a contract, and if they don't accept it from us, the new team won't even be able to afford him after 2 or 3 years because of the acceleration there of the salary that he's going to make. And he said, Donnie, what does that mean? Well, the Dodgers are getting away with right now. We'll sign you to a couple $100 million. We'll pay you pennies until 5 or 6 years down the road. So if we put the CBA with the salary cap, what happens to teams like the Dodgers that circumvented that cap, and in 5 years, their salary explodes, but those contracts are already on the books? You as a Yankees fan, me as a Phillies fan, our team spend money. What are we looking at with these cap proposals on a floor and also a ceiling here? And is it something that they can ever agree upon?
I think so, because the way you set it up, Donnie, and that everyone else has a salary cap. So I think they should be able to meet a conclusion. But the thing that just is so jarring to me from the initial numbers that are being reported, I feel as if the salary cap conversation is often with an eye on the Dodgers specifically. And man, I got to tell you, the bottom half of the league, I do wonder, like some people thought, Donnie, they'd vote on this and it'd be 29-1 with the Dodgers being the one team who like, no salary cap.
Yeah.
Like, Donnie, the Washington Nationals ready to double their payroll. Are the Tampa Bay Rays ready to double their payroll? Because they now seem to be as bad, if not worse, offenders to what this league is trying to correct here with this salary cap.
And then one of the best parts about it is, wait a second, they didn't just float that number. That means these lower market teams can afford that. Why aren't they paying it now? It's crazy stuff. Catch Kevin Sin on Game Time Decisions. Into the weekend you go. Having some fun with Kevin here. Catch him tonight in-game live to start your weekend. Both him and Gabriel Morency, and away you go, getting you ready. Because tonight, Gabe's going to be all fired up there, the Montreal Canadiens. And then also maybe a preview of that game number 7 on Saturday night between OKC and the San Antonio Spurs. Joe, we got more hot topics to get through. And by the way, Joe, did you watch the enhanced games? If you don't know what they are, is take whatever you want, be the best athlete you can be. And how about this from a tweet from Enhanced Games? Enhanced Games captured the world's attention, Joe. Maybe not mine, really. 4,000 earned media articles, 16.7 billion combined monthly unique visitors across coverage, 932 million estimated global broadcast news reach, and a 59% of total reach happening during the games alone. Joe, who's going to believe this? Because you can make up whatever numbers you want, but I'm going to tell you right now, 9 out of 10 people had no idea the enhanced games were going on, nor knew a way to go watch those. I'm not believing any of this. I'm not. Just not.
Just so I recall here, Donnie, the enhanced games is the steroid games, right? Is that kind of what that is? Okay, so the steroid. So they actually had a pretty good, I think it was needle toss. That was actually a pretty fun one to watch. Donnie, I don't think anybody knew this was going on, nor I don't think I saw one clip about it on any of the 9 million different social media platforms. Did you catch any? Because I never came across any.
I'm telling you, Joe, the new thing, like if you are a cable service, a streaming service, put out your own numbers. By the way, we just debuted a new show, 16.8 billion hits in the first hour.
Yes.
Make whatever you want up at this point. Nobody was watching the enhanced games, and nobody will watch those enhanced games here, Joe. So now we get to the point of the show. We want to reach out to the public. It's our Fade the Public poll. Yes, who is your pick to win Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, Joe? Spurs, OKC, I won't be watching. Good for the people out there. We're all watching this here, but apparently everybody loading up on those San Antonio Spurs. What's the deal here? Give me OKC. I'll lay it down there. Get loud, OKC. Come on.
It's one of those moments, Donnie, where it's, you're the champion until somebody beats you, right?
Yeah.
And they have certainly figured out a way to win these games over the last 2 seasons in this spot. The fact that they're home is huge. Young Spurs team, can they finally win a game that matters on the road against their rival? I think it's must watch, and I think the drop, to Kevin's point, in the total tells you that, maybe these refs won't be blowing the whistle as often as they did in Game 5.
Does SGA head to the Garden for game number 3, or Victor Wembanyama, the alien here? It's one thing that we know for sure. There's a lot of hate on OKC, so maybe San Antonio is that rising force, but we'll find out who does advance to the finals for a Game 1 matchup on June the 3rd. Who's it going to be? We will find out. But we're going to find out right now what our best bets are. Here's Bye. Perfect week, Joe. You're headed for it. Give us the play of the day that we need to get there.
Well, Donnie, listen, if it ain't broke, I'm not fixing it. And the Yankees owning Severino is not broke. And Severino pitching in Sacramento is broke. He's a hot mess there, but he's even worse against the Yankees. In his last 3 starts, nearly an 11 ERA, 17 runs, 15 of them earned, 18 hits. And he's only pitched 12 2/3 innings in 3 starts against them. Now you couple in the fact that they're in Sacramento off an off day. I'll take the Yankees at this price. I don't care if they're throwing out Kevin Walsh to pitch for the Yankees. Rodon will be just fine, and the Yankees will win this game.
If you're in New Jersey, I guess you could say vote Kevin Walsh. He's always our vote here. You know what I mean? We always bring him on the network, have some fun with him here, see what he likes. He's a Yankees fan, but he will appreciate that as well. For me, Joe, I'm going to go to a team total tonight. Last night I had a public fade in the NBA. First time in a long time I lost in the NBA on one of those and got hammered because I had OKC. Tonight, We're going to go with those Atlanta Braves. It's afraid of Chris Paddock here, starting pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds. You take a look at the 193 batters, Joe, that he's faced on the season, a 356 weighted on base percentage. That's not good enough. Not a high strikeout rate. You take a look at that lineup. Acuna, Harris, Olsen, Albie, Smith, Riley, Yastrzemski, Kim, and Leone. I'm going for over 4.5 runs tonight. The Braves did it yesterday. They should do it again tonight. Cash in those tickets to Friday. 2-0 is always the goal. PME on TEL. It comes up next.
Hey there, it's your buddy Craig Carton. If you're trying to find out how to get all the great content that me and Tyrone Johnson give you every single day, here's Tyrone to tell you how.
You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and of course, Amazon Music as well. We're at all 4.
That's right. It's the Craig Carton Show podcast every weekday morning live at 11, replayed at noon on YouTube and on SportsGrid throughout the country. Check it out.
They're trading right now currently at 74 wins on the season, which means the Kalshi marketplace goes by 5-win intervals. 75-plus wins for those Houston Astros. That's a 49% contract to the yes, which a $100 investment pays back $205, Greg. I'm not high on this team. Look, again, 75 wins for the Astros is terrible, but this team might not even look the same as where we stand today by the time we get to that deadline.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You can recruit super young talent that may go in the NBA. You can recruit older guys and have them grow up together. But if you want players to stay, either sign them to contracts or treat them well enough where they're going to stay. To me, it's pretty simple. And, you know, a lot of coaches last year had good years and they left skid marks on their schools and nobody said a word.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Go over the summer where there's drastic changes and gas drops down to $3 a gallon, $2.50 a gallon in some states, and then you have some of the price markets go down. You ride that momentum is what Joe's talking about. So if you say right now, which party will win the U.S. House, and you think it's the Republicans currently trading at 20%, you take them now, and if good press comes, that turns into 25% and 30%, then you have the option to cash out.
Prediction Markets Edge, only on